Hey guys, today we are going to talk about the 6-month company transformation, okay? So this is one of my favorite concepts, and as soon as I realized this, everything about all my businesses changed forever, right? Everything just felt easier as soon as I implemented these principles and this high-level philosophy towards what I call the 6-month transformation. Okay, so the idea of the 6-month transformation is that your best employee, your best people in 6 months from now, ideally, are your worst people, okay? And that's just not something that is sustainable over a period of time because you don't want to keep replacing people. You definitely don't want to, just be known as someone who fires anyone who doesn't hit a certain level of performance immediately. But at the same time, you need to uphold a certain standard, and you need to make sure that you are always in recruiting mode, upholding that standard, trying new people out, and really moving the top people up and managing the people who aren't cutting it out. Okay, so the concept of up or out was actually something that was formed by some of these elite management consulting firms, the McKinsey, the Bain, the BCGs of the world. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. I don't really care much for that world in particular, but the concept actually is very much relevant to entrepreneurship and to being someone that really builds an organization. And it's actually relevant for even a corporate job, a corporate environment. All of it's relevant because at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a company. Okay, there's just a bunch of people, right? So a company is really, by definition, just a bunch of people working towards a common goal. Now, how skilled those people are, how motivated they are, how well they collaborate together, the overall energy they bring to the table, their chemistry, that is what a company is, right? A company by itself is just a piece of paper, right? It's just something that says this entity exists, but at the end of the day, the people are everything. So at some point in your entrepreneurial career, you will look at your company and say, the team I have here is not the team that's going to take me to the next level. That's okay in many cases, right? Maybe you don't want to go to the next level, but if you want to go to that, if you want to take a $1 million business to a $5 million business to a $20 million business and a $50 million business, the company and the team and the executive team and, the people under it, they're going to look a lot different. As you kind of grow revenue, you need to spend money on the best people you can afford. And again, you don't need to have a huge budget. I've mentioned this before in other videos. Upwork is a great way to get cheap, high quality talent. And you need to make sure that, the people who are the strongest, at a certain point, that becomes the average, and then that becomes the baseline, right? That's ultimately what's going to create your company, because you can spend so many years banging your head against the wall, wondering why you're not growing like crazy 5, 10, 20 times, okay? If you want to really experience exponential growth, you can't do it if you don't have a perfect system, if you don't have a perfect process. Most importantly, you can't do it if you don't have superstars. It's the superstars that ultimately are going to free up your time, which are going to allow you to focus on things related to growth, or in many cases, the product itself, depending on the type of business. And as a result, you are going to eventually be able to take it to the next level and that next level, right? So one of the hardest aspects of this is removing your feelings, removing your friendship, removing any relationships you have with anyone on your team, and taking a truthful, honest look at the team and realizing, who belongs there and who, needs to be managed out. You never want to fire people just outright. You generally want to help them or offer some sort of support, something that allows them to actually move on with their life and stay good. The worst type of employee or contractor is the bitter ex-contractor or employee. You don't want that. You don't want people having feelings that are negative. You don't want people having a bad experience. Many times they'll stay in the same industry, so you don't want your reputation to be impacted in any way. You want to just have a clean, nice breakup, and you definitely want to be able to maintain a positive relationship after. Now, when we say moving the best person into the baseline, it doesn't always mean necessarily firing the people who are not performing as well. You want to give everyone an opportunity to actually perform, right? To actually go out there and prove what they can do. Give them a chance to learn, give them a chance to see what they can do. Only when you realize that they're not able to do it at the level that you want them to do it, only then are you gonna, have to kind of manage them out. Always hire the replacement first, if you can, just to make the transition a bit easier. How you go about that is really up to you. You could tell them, this is a new team member or whatever. It's kind of harsh, sounds a bit manipulative, but even if you're the nicest person ever, business is a little bit harsh, it's a little bit ruthless. So you definitely, if you want to take it to that next level, only if you want to take it to that next level, but also maybe you don't want to take it to the next level, but you just want it to run by itself, so you don't have to be involved in the operations. You can focus on other things or whatever it is that you ultimately want to do. Doesn't matter. It's just going to be way better if you only accept superstars, A+ superstars, not even A-, not B+. A is fine. But anyone who's not at the A level or above, there's only a few people that are going to be like A+ superstars. Just like as you grow, it's just going to be hard to sustainably recruit that superstar type person. But the A level is good as well. Not to sound elitist, it's not to sound like rude or anything. It's just if you want to build a great company, any great company. When we think of like the biggest companies, in terms of revenue or profit, when we think of them all, they have very hectic. I don't want to say hectic. They have very exclusive recruiting standards, and they just take that whole process of recruiting and training very seriously, because they know as well as anyone that you're only as great as the people that work for you. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight. It's some of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur is to let people go, to manage people out, to replace them. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for the business, and you have to do what's right for the people that are working so hard at a high level and deserve to see that business grow just as much as you, and put any sort of personal relationships or preferences on the side and really work on making the most talented person the baseline, and then just increasing the baseline. That's just going to create an amazing company. That's going to create growth beyond your wildest dreams. So hopefully that's a little bit of insight. Definitely leave your comments and thoughts below, and we'd love to hear anything you have to say, any questions, any comments, and we'll definitely be sure to post more topics on this kind of management structure, because some of you guys already have businesses, some of you don't, some of you do, and you're kind of looking to take it to that next level. And as much as starting a great business, there's a lot of lots of great things to talk about, no matter what phase you're in. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you subscribe to the channel.